Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Tuesday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Diana Master. A bold heist at Namib Desert Diamonds Namibia on Saturday afternoon resulted in 2 fatalities, 2 arrests and the possible disappearance of diamonds worth over 300 million Namibian dollars. Now, authorities had previously warned Namibia of a potential robbery, raising questions about whether the theft could have been prevented. Deputy Inspector General for Operations Elias Mutota confirmed that police had alerted Namibia late last year about a planned heist, advising the company to enhance its security measures. However, it remains unclear if Namibia acted on the warning. Namibia, established by the government in 2016 to market a portion of Namibia's diamonds independently, plays a critical role in the diamond trade. The company markets 15% of the annual production from the Namdeb Holdings joint venture with De Beers, valued at around 2.6 billion Namibian dollars. The robbery occurred as Namibia was preparing for its first sale of the year, involving its largest ever consignment of diamonds worth approximately 318 million Namibian dollars. Now, while it's uncertain if the robbers escaped with the entire consignment, some diamonds were reportedly recovered at the crime scene. According to police spokesperson Deputy Commissioner Kauna Shikwambi, 4 armed suspects entered Namibia's premises between 5 and 6 p.m. on Saturday, held employees hostage and stole an undisclosed number of diamonds. The robbers also killed Namibia security supervisor 57-year-old Francis Aseb, who was found dead in a storeroom. One suspect, identified as Max Njala, a senior employee at Trustco Group and a renowned squash player, was found with gunshot wounds and later died in hospital. Police believe Njala shot himself to avoid capture. Another suspect was arrested at the scene, while a second was apprehended the following day. One of the suspects, Joel Angula, previously employed at Namibia as a security officer, made his first appearance today in the Windhoek Magistrates Court. Visibly shaken and overwhelmed, he was denied bail. His lawyer, Rejoice Zacchaeus, will file a formal bail application, and his case will be postponed until May 23rd of 2025 for further investigations. Namibia CEO Alisa Amopolo confirmed the incident, stating that a police docket had been opened for armed robbery with aggravating circumstances and murder. She emphasized that Namibia is committed to ensuring that all information shared aligns with the ongoing investigation. The heist comes amid financial challenges at Namibia attributed to a slowdown in global diamond sales. The company has reportedly been forced to sell diamonds at below market rates and recorded losses exceeding 200 million Namibian dollars last year. Now, Ampolo herself faced a disciplinary hearing in December 2024 and has been under pressure to resign. Security at Namibia is now under intense scrutiny, with its leadership expected to answer for the breach. As investigations continue, questions linger over whether this heist could have been prevented and what steps Namibia will take to restore its trust in operations. The Hardap region's newly appointed Education Director, Paulus Levin, has pledged to reverse the decline in the region's education standards with a targeted action plan. Since taking office on the 2nd of January, he has identified key issues affecting Hardap's performance, including a significant drop in academic achievement. Performance has declined across all phases, with many pupils failing to meet basic competencies in critical subjects like mathematics and languages, he said. This struggle has contributed to poor outcomes in grade 11 and other final secondary school years. Hardap fell from 12th to 13th place nationally in the Namibia Senior Secondary Certificate Ordinary Level examinations and dropped from 5th to 12th place in the Advanced Subsidiary Level rankings. In 2024, only 13.8% of pupils qualified to advance to the next level, down from 15.6% in 2023. He attributes the poor performance to high dropout rates, unqualified teachers, and aging infrastructure. Many schools and hostels are in disrepair, which undermines efforts to create a conducive learning environment, he noted. Now, despite the challenges, Levin remains optimistic. Efforts are underway to address teacher shortages, improve qualifications, strengthen oversight, and provide extra support to struggling pupils, especially in mathematics and languages. We are committed to turning things around and ensuring a brighter future for education in Hardap, Levin said. In our next story, Dr. Esperance Luvendao, a well-known physician and founder of OSAD Africa Health Foundation, has revealed that women in the Kavango region are using herbs as a form of contraception due to limited access to reproductive health resources. During a recent copper IUD clinic held in 9 villages in Kavango West, Luvendao observed a troubling trend. Many women had inserted unidentified substances, only referred to as herbs, into their vaginas, believing they would serve as contraceptives. The problem with these traditional methods is that they often fail, leading to unintended pregnancies, Luvendao explained. While some women claim the herbs were also used for vaginal tightening and enhancing intimacy, they refused to disclose the exact nature of the substances, citing cultural traditions. Luvendao highlighted the significant health risks associated with this practice, including infections and complications, and stressed the importance of offering safe alternatives. The clinic proved transformative, reaching 188 households across the communities. Women were educated about contraceptive options in their native languages, and many chose to replace the herbs with IUDs. Luvendao noted that some women turned to these traditional methods because their husbands refused to use contraceptives, leaving them to seek discreet alternatives. Now, South African and Namibian authorities have collaborated to freeze 52 million rand across 10 bank accounts linked to an alleged large-scale illegal coal mining operation in Carolina, Mpumalanga. The funds, tied to South African couple Jacobus and Elza Jordan and Elza's sister Reinhard Binneman, were seized following joint efforts by the two countries. The Namibian High Court issued preservation orders in December and January after being approached for assistance in tracing assets connected to the operation. The investigation began in late 2023 when South Africa's Asset Forfeiture Unit seized mining equipment, heavy machinery, a farm and coal stockpiles worth an estimated 1.5 billion rand. The operation, centered at the farm Witkrans in Carolina, involved the illegal mining of approximately 270,000 tons of coal between November 2021 and September 2023, valued at about 264 million rand. The coal was transported to nearby processing plants and sold to end users, including sugar mills and a tire manufacturer. Authorities have confirmed that G&J Mining, owned by Jacobus Jordan, operated without the required authorizations from the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy or the Department of Agriculture and Environmental Affairs. Police discovered the scale of the operation during a raid in September of 2023. Describing it as one of the largest illegal mining schemes uncovered in South Africa. The National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, has called illegal mining and related money laundering a significant threat to South Africa's economy and public welfare. NPA spokesperson Monica Nyuswa commended the cooperation between South African and Namibian authorities, noting that the effort made even during the December festive season was indeed applaudable. Jacobus Jordan was arrested in October 2023 and released on a 2,000 rand bail. His wife Elza and alleged mine manager Paul Boshoff also faced charges. Jordan's attempts to challenge the seizures in court have been unsuccessful. The criminal trial of the Jordans, Boshoff, and 14 other individuals and companies is set to begin in the Middelburg High Court this November. Authorities have pledged to continue cracking down on illegal mining and holding those responsible accountable. And now, closing off our top stories, Namibia's accommodation establishments recorded a 54.48% occupancy rate in 2024, surpassing 2023's rate of 51.92%, and even edging out the 53.50% recorded in 2019 before the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted global travel. The Hospitality Association of Namibia, HAN or HAN, hailed the growth as a positive indicator for the sector. CEO Gita Petzold noted that Central Europe remains Namibia's most robust travel market, showing steady growth alongside the USA and UK markets. However, African and Asian markets are still recovering. Domestic tourism saw a decline, with Namibian guests comprising less than 20% of the total occupancy in 2024 compared to 26% in 2019. Petzold suggested that financial constraints and the rise of informal offerings like Airbnb may explain the shift. In December, occupancy stood at 43.68%, with Namibians marking up 32.49% of the guests. Camping proved popular, with 204 international visitors spending 268 nights outdoors and 1,817 SADC and Namibian guests camping for a total of 3,181 nights. That brings us to the end of our top stories. Stick around after the break. We bring you our Community Talk segment. All right, now tonight in Community Talk, President Nangolo Mbumba expressed his delight this morning as Judge Petrus Unengu, chairman of the 5th Commission for the Delimitation of Borders, and his team successfully submitted their full report after several delays. According to Unengu, the commission proposes that Namibia should not be divided into additional regions, but recommends the creation of 10 new constituencies by amending the boundaries of 62 existing constituencies. The commission also suggests renaming 2 constituencies. Mbumba stated that he will review the proposals in consultation with the cabinet. We'll take a look at the video just now.
They also were very conscious of the number of citizens we have. Not to create institutions for the sake of appointing people to those positions. So no new governors to come. I'm sorry. Only governors for the 14 regions. We will then study this document, take it to cabinet. Cabinet is the final authority in decision making in the country. It's not the president. The president does not decide alone. Even the creation of the commission is because of the decision of the cabinet in line with the Namibian constitution and Namibian laws. We are governed by laws, not by the authority of a particular person. As for Judge Unengu, thank you very much for your patience, for your dedication. We took you out of retirement. You took the job as a dedicated citizen of the Republic. When there were need for extension, you did not hesitate. It is not you, it's not me. It's the job to be done for the Namibian people.
Now coming up after the break, Zimbabwe's $270 million lithium project is on the verge of a breakthrough. Kuvimba Mining House is finalizing a deal with Chinese partners to power the global EV supply chain. Could this project solidify Zimbabwe's role as Africa's lithium leader? Well, stay tuned for the economic news coming up after the break. Now headlining our economic news, Kuvimba Mining House, Zimbabwe's state-owned mining firm, is set to finalize a major deal with 2 Chinese companies this month as part of its $270 million lithium project, according to CEO Trevor Bernard. The company, the company remains optimistic about the long-term recovery of lithium prices, which have plummeted by more than 80% since their peak in November of 2022 due to oversupply and slower than expected electric vehicle sales. Bernard believes prices will stabilize this year, driven by strong EV sales in China and the closure of some mines, but he noted that they are unlikely to reach the record highs of 2022. Zimbabwe, the largest lithium producer in Africa, has attracted over $1 billion in investments from Chinese battery metal companies since 2021. Now, although Bernard did not disclose the names of Kuvimba's Chinese partners, he confirmed they are working on a deal to construct a 600,000 metric ton per year lithium concentrator at the Sandawana mine. We reviewed the Sandawana project and found it remains a strong venture due to the quality and size of the resource, Bernard said. Prominent Chinese firms like Zhejiang Huayou Cobalt, Sinomine Resource Group, Chengxin Lithium Group, and Yahua Group and Canmax have been acquiring lithium assets in Zimbabwe as part of China's strategy to dominate the global battery metal supply chain. Now, Kuvimba's commitment to the lithium sector underscores Zimbabwe's growing role in the EV and battery metal industries, with the Sandawana project poised to play a pivotal part in the global supply chain. Now let's take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 22.92 against the British pound, 19.09 to the euro, 18.09 against the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 50 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Looking at commodities, gold and platinum are on an upturn of 1.02 and 0.09% respectively, while copper and Brent crude oil fell by 1.37 and 1.21% respectively. Now ahead in international news, a dramatic escape in South Africa as a suspected gang leader vanishes following a deadly illegal gold mine tragedy. Plus, sweeping changes in the United States as Donald Trump is back in the Oval Office and he has launched a bold series of executive orders. From immigration to energy, we'll break down the global implications of his America First agenda. Stick around. Now, South African police are under scrutiny after a suspected gang leader known as Tiger escaped custody following his dramatic rescue from an illegal gold mine in Stilfontein, where at least 78 miners died last week. Authorities suspect internal collusion as Tiger, identified as Lesotho national James Neo-Tswaeli, vanished before reaching the police station. National Police spokesperson Atlenda Mate confirmed the escape, saying preliminary investigation suggests someone let him go. A manhunt is now underway and the police are investigating internal complicity. Police Commissioner Patrick Asaneng warned heads will roll once those responsible are identified. The tragedy at the mine, which had been blockaded by police for months, drew sharp criticism. Officers had cut off food and water to force miners out, leading to claims that the state contributed to the deaths. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana dismissed such accusations, stating those engaging in illegal activities and losing their lives cannot place blame on the state. The blockade ended last week with a court-ordered rescue operation that saved 246 miners, many of whom emerged emaciated and weak. Now, survivors accused Tswaeli of hoarding food and committing acts of violence underground. Identifying the 78 bodies will be challenging, as many victims were undocumented migrants. The mine, 145 kilometers southwest of Johannesburg, has been cleared of survivors and bodies, but the tragedy underscores the broader issue of illicit mining. Thousands of Zama-Zamas work in abandoned mines across South Africa, often controlled by gangs that exploit vulnerable migrants from neighboring countries. Police have defended their actions, blaming gang leaders for the dire conditions underground. Rights activists and trade unions, however, have labeled the incident a massacre, accusing authorities of negligence and human rights violations. Now, Donald Trump wasted no time after being sworn in as the 47th President of the United States, issuing a sweeping series of executive orders aimed at reshaping policies across immigration, energy, government reform, and more. These actions reflect his return to an America First agenda and his commitment to reversing several Biden-era policies. Here's a closer look at the key directives and their implications. When it comes to immigration policies, Trump declared a national emergency at the southern border, citing issues of drug trafficking, human smuggling, and illegal crossings. He ordered the resumption of border wall reconstruction and reinstated his Remain in Mexico policy, which requires asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their cases are being processed. He also suspended the U.S. refugee resettlement program for 4 months and ended the catch and release practice that allowed undocumented immigrants to remain in the U.S. while awaiting hearings. Additionally, Trump reinstated the death penalty for specific crimes committed by undocumented immigrants, including the murder of law enforcement officers. Trump labeled international gangs and cartels such as MS-13 as foreign terrorist organizations and dismantled a Biden-era program that permitted up to 30,000 migrants per month from select countries to enter the U.S. When it comes to energy and climate, in a return to his earlier presidency, Trump withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement, declared a national energy emergency, and pushed for increased domestic fossil fuel production. He ordered federal agencies to hold funding for green energy initiatives such as wind farm leasing and rolled back Biden's electric vehicle programs. When it comes to reversing Biden-era policies, Trump signed an order rescinding nearly 80 Biden-era regulations and froze any new rules until his administration takes full control. He also ended diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI programs across federal agencies and eliminated policies promoting gender ideology. Notably, Trump revoked the COVID-19 vaccine mandate for federal workers and military personnel, pledging to reinstate service members discharged for non-compliance with full back pay. Government reform. To cut costs, Trump established the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, appointing Elon Musk as its head. He also issued a freeze on federal hiring except for military positions and mandated that federal employees return to in-office work, ending remote work options. For censorship and political accountability, Trump signed directives aimed at investigating alleged political bias in government agencies. He promised to end what he described as the weaponization of the government against political adversaries, ordering reviews of law enforcement and intelligence agencies under the Biden administration. Now, in a controversial move, Trump pardoned nearly 1,600 individuals involved in the January 6th Capitol riot, describing them as hostages of a political system. He also commuted sentences for members of the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys convicted of seditious conspiracy. Other actions. Trump ordered the renaming of Alaska's Mount Denali back to Mount McKinley and renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. He paused federal aid programs for foreign nations and began the process of withdrawing the U.S. from the World Health Organization. So, what has Trump not acted on yet? Well, tariffs. Despite threats of imposing tariffs on Canada and Mexico, Donald Trump has yet to take action. However, he announced that tariffs could begin on February 1st with duties of 25% in Canada and Mexico, 10% on global imports, and 60% on Chinese goods. Trump also directed officials to review trade relationships for unfair practices. Classified documents. Trump has promised to release secret documents related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy back in 1963, and the killings of Senator Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. 1968, fueling widespread speculation and conspiracy theories. Now, Trump also hinted at creating a federal Bitcoin stockpile likened to the U.S. gold and oil reserves as a permanent national asset. His support for cryptocurrency has already caused Bitcoin's value to surge by 30% following his election. And now let's take a look at the weather predictions. Katima Mulilo can expect some showers and minimum temperatures of 19 degrees Celsius and maximum temperatures of 24 degrees Celsius. In Windhoek, partly cloudy conditions are to be expected and minimum temperatures will be around 21 degrees Celsius, while the maximum temperatures will be around 29 degrees Celsius. Looking over at the coast in Swakopmund, not much of a difference between the minimum and maximum temperatures, just a 1 degree difference. And in Oranjemund, it's bright and sunny skies, minimum temperatures of 16 degrees Celsius and maximum temperatures of 25 degrees Celsius. And with that, we have come to the end of the broadcast. Do remember Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25, as well as on our website 102.com. Sunset News screens every weekday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. I am Diana Master, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.